And we are live. Okay. So, this is the very first channel I've done on this video. All it is going to be about is just the basics of what this channel is going to cover. And then it will be done. So, let's give this a go. What are we looking at here? 1 second. Okay. So the first thing is this podcast. So this is going to be in the format of a podcast. What that is just going to be is basically mostly like this, where it's just audio. You can listen to in a car, listen to it on the go, like Audible or any other strictly audio style platforms. And what I will be covering on this channel will be mostly, I may do a couple other random videos, but mostly some travel fishing mix and having a weird spin on it. So like things that you would never think about, or like oddball fisheries in places that are not normally known in those areas. So like I did an article on urban rock fishing in Seattle, and that was a lot of fun. Like you would just look around, you just look up, and there was all this like, you see like a train above you, you'd walk with your little bass rod to the spot, and it was half it was the setting, and the other half was just catching those little rockfish then and there. And if you ever get the chance, that is definitely a fun thing. Linked below, that's the first article I ever did, and it's just called that Urban Rock Fishing in Seattle. And ideally, I want to get to the point where, like Costa did this, where they had these guys go down, they take fly rods all the way down to South America, Guyana for arapaima, and they basically did a giant thing to basically promote tourism in a place that you never even knew existed. Like Guyana is one of those little countries that, like, other than people knowing about Jim Jones' cult, no one ever you knew was a thing, except for like a couple of anglers here. So that's the advantage of sport fishing, is it's a language that is almost universal. Like I can walk up to any body of water, find someone who's fishing, and we will both be talking about the same thing. And that is something incredible. And if you've ever been to another country, you will know that a language barrier can be a pain in the rear. So a good example of that is like I was in Israel this past summer, and over time I'll do the podcast for those different trips that I did. And fishing's fishing. Like you can talk fishing anywhere, and if you know the basics of fishing, it's universal. You can talk about bouncing a fluke off the bottom, whether you're fishing for redfish or you're fishing for wolffish in Tel Aviv. I don't care if you're fishing for calicos on the West Coast and you are throwing a swim bait inside the harbor fishing for those spotted bay bass, those calicos that we like on the West Coast, or if you're doing the same thing fishing in the Red Sea. Or if you're fishing in freaking Thailand, you catch fish doing that as well for small grouper. Who cares? It's all the same thing. And that's what's great about it. So, and then, so just some other things I want to cover. That's what I said about the original mentality. And like I said, articles that I've done before are going to be linked below. And let's see, what else do I need to do? So just quickly, any more like upcoming videos that I will be covering on this channel. I went to Israel, like I said, this past summer, and I will be doing 4 articles. The first one will be different tips when going to Israel. So this was like a 5-week trip. So large chunk of time to get a lot of stuff done. 8, a bunch of tips when going to Israel. Should be like 8. The next one is going to be, I'm not sure yet what I'm doing, but the next one is going to be either catfishing the Sea of Galilee or the Yam Kinneret, depending on what you refer to it as. the last one is going to be, well, then another one's going to be Jaffa or Jaffa Harbor. Take your pick. Is going to be targeting wolffish there and what I did to catch them. And then I may do an article on the Red Sea, but honestly, it wasn't that good of an experience for what I did. Although I may cover like how it kind of could have been better, and then suggest what you could have done instead of what I did, because I only had a day there, basically less than 24 hours. So it wasn't the greatest trip, and and also bone dry, so you weren't in the most motivated conditions to go fishing. All right. Get to it.